It's really important to have art and artists in our society today, in our time that we live in. And we can find that there's a natural relation with artwork and humans. Look back in the days when cave drawings and paintings were done and brought about, and old instruments were discovered. That was something that just came natural to people and society. It affects emotion, physical well-being, as well as personalities. It can bring about just the way that we live and be, as people. And it seems like it's almost like in our DNA, our natural selves. Another thing that's interesting is that art is good for you. I think that people find when they're maybe under stress or not feeling that well and just feeling some pressure, that if you can get into artwork, making it, doing it somehow in some fashion. I know when my mother was in a place where she needed to be, one of her favorite things was when they had crafts on Tuesday and Thursday, and they would go in there and do little paintings and drawings and glue stuff together and make little projects, and it was just very rewarding. The people, when they're doing it, coming together and talking and having fun, is way more than rewarding than maybe watching a movie or doing something that you don't get to intermingle with. On occasion, thoughts come into an artist's mind, an image, a painting, a photograph, a poem, or whatever it be. And at that time, just taking that image out of your head and then putting it into visual form can be quite a task. I know there's good ways to go through that process. I find initially is conceptual thoughts or drawings, sketching things out on paper, getting things worked out a little bit. Because if you dive right into it and start drawing something or painting or something that's very concrete, it's difficult to change. But if you see a composition issue or something that you can solve, and there's no problem with drawing something, crumple it up, throw it in the trash. I'll get it right the next time. Crumple it up, throw it in the trash. It may take, even writing poetry or music or anything like that, it may take a lot of things that don't work out well for you before you find the avenue to go down. Then once that avenue is figured out and you know what you want to do, the big deal is now attacking the media. What do I want to do it in? Do I want to do it in charcoal, or watercolor, oil painting, tapestry? There's all different kinds of medias to go into, and that's where going to the art store is important, and having a local art store that you can rely on. Of course, you've got the internet to deal with too as far as getting materials, but it's nothing like going to see them and feel them and touch them and know what they're like, So I would say that's a part of the really fun part of it, is getting your materials, getting your supplies, trying to get top of the line items that work well for you, that you know that you can use, that once the sun hits it, they're not going to fade if it's paint, or the paintbrushes don't drop hairs off in it. The quality material is achieved. You have to take care of your material, keep it aside, keep track of it, know where it is, keep it clean, it's very important. Then when it gets down to the piece and you start developing it, there's different stages of painting, sketching in block parts, adding the tone or shadows around it, and then going into the detail. It's all a process. It can take minutes or hours, Let's take photographers. They go out, they could just take their camera, point and shoot and say, oh, I got a good shot. Other ones will sit there and I'm going to go there at a certain time of the day. I'm going to make sure that this cloud is just in the right spot, or there's a bird flying by or whatever. And they kind of are able to really get into their artwork and really see through it and into it, and then capture it on film, There's so many pieces in an art gallery when you go and look at it, and you just say, wow, I wonder what they used to do that, or how was that made? Is that fabric? Especially multimedia, where you could use painting and glue and and pieces of paper and wood and different media, shells or whatever you'd come about to make these pieces. Well, there again, you need to do some research, get some inventory, build up some buttons or whatever things you might want to collect and use. So it's all part of a big plan. Hopefully that as you're developing it, I would say in my life, one of the biggest challenges is to know when I am done with something. So I can't tell you how many times I've been working on a project and then I overwork it and pretty soon it gets muddy and I end up getting rid of it. It just overworked it. So an important key is to know when you're done. And I encourage someone just to dive into it. Just start. Get some ideas in your head, start getting them out, get them on paper, get them going and get supplies and just have fun. Art is for us to enjoy, and not only ourselves, but other people that view it and look at it and enjoy it. So I encourage everyone to support artists, and if you're an artist yourself, take care of yourself with art. I felt like I had a natural talent. I wanted to be an artist. I was growing in my artwork. I had teachers helping me, but it came to a point in my life where I had to, you know, go to certain people and tell them that I wanted to become an artist. Some of the responses back weren't like I got in my youth, that were always uplifting and building and encouraging, but some were saying, well, you better think twice about that. You might want it to be a hobby or something. And then maybe you could get into a trade or something where it would be easier to make money, because it's a little bit difficult to turn your talent into artwork. And so I started to believe that. I think if my older me could have talked to the younger me, it would have said, okay, listen to those people, but don't let them discourage you. Don't let them rob. Because after a while I would start doubting myself. Am I good enough to do this? Do I really have the talent that it takes? Is there a way for me to provide for my family if I have children, you know? And I started to just hesitate, and I think I was stifled at that time. Now, fortunately, I didn't listen to these people that were encouraging me not to go into as a career, and I just pursued it. I went to school, got a job, and just kept going forward, and it's been very helpful to me. In fact, some good that came out of it is that when I look back in those days and I see young kids today, I was in a classroom last night with a bunch of children doing artwork, and I thought to myself, they're there for a reason. They're there because they want to be. They're there because they recognize they have a gift. And in the Downriver Council for the Arts, where the class happened, provides opportunity for that. It opens up doors and encourages people. I know, let's say if you had a child come up to you and say, I want to become a rock star, so I'm going to get a guitar and get a band and that's my life, you know. You'd hesitate for a minute. Maybe a daughter might come up to you and say, I'm heading off to New York, I'm going to be an actress, I'm just going for it, you know. And then the parent may look and say, I wonder. So there is some hesitation, some thoughts that you would have to do to concern, you know, your whole career and living the way you'd want to. But I guess I wish I would have just hung into the positiveness and not had that come against me. But now that I look back, I am encouraged when I go and encourage other people or help them in their walk with their life as an artist or becoming an artist. And there's so many things we can do. Birthday presents, you can get them little paint sets and clay that comes about in these air set containers that you can buy. You know, I don't care what it is, coloring Easter eggs or any traditions that you might have. It's just kind of, art is part of a young person's life, and it's helped me to hang on to it and support other people that want to be creative. So a lesson was to learn out of that, and that's what the old Elroy's saying back now, I guess.
I hope you are finding inspiration from the stories of our artists. If you'd like more information on the Downriver Council for the Arts, please visit our website at downriverarts.org. Thanks for watching, and I hope we see you next time.